Welcome to the Daily Poem. I'm David Kern. I know the quality of this episode doesn't sound quite as good as the other ones. That is because I am, unfortunately, not able to get into the studio right now for various reasons, but I still wanted to make sure to get you an episode, to get you a poem. So this is when the old iPhone comes in handy. So thanks to Logan for making this episode sound as good as possible, given the limitations and the circumstances. Today's poem is by the most contemporary poet I've read yet on this show. It's by Mary Oliver from her Pulitzer Prize-winning collection, American Primitive. Mary Oliver is still living, and this collection was from the late 70s or early 80s, sometime in that range. And this is one of my favorite poems from this collection. I'll go ahead and read it, say a few comments, and then read it again per usual. This is called Tasting the Wild Grapes. The red beast who lives on the side of these hills won't come out for anything you have, money or music. Still, there are moments heavy with light and good luck. Walk quietly under these tangled vines and pay attention, and one morning something will explode underfoot like a branch of fire. One afternoon, something will flow down the hill in plain view, a muscled sleeve the color of all October. And forgetting everything, you will leap to name it, as though for the first time. Your lit blood rushing not to a word, but a sound. Small-boned, thin-faced, in a hurry, lively as the dark thorns of the wild grapes on the unsuspecting tongue. The fox, the fox. One of the things I love about this poem is the way it builds. There's a narrative to this. There's a dramatic arc, a narrative arc, if you will, to this poem. And it builds through the images, through the language. There's a lovely craftsmanship to this. It's a simple poem in many ways, right? It says some transcendent things, but in many ways it's a simple poem, and I don't think that's a negative thing. I don't mean that in a negative way whatsoever. But it builds up to the reveal at the end. You feel like it's going to be one thing, and then you feel like, oh, maybe she's trying to trick us in some way. But then in the end, what she's doing is she's reveling in a very specific creature. Mary Oliver is one of our great nature poets. Many of her poems, like Wendell Berry's poems, deal with the world that she's seeing as she's walking around and spending time on her property and just spending time and reveling in the world itself. And you can see the pleasure that she takes in it come through, not just through the images and not just through her experience that she's describing, but through the way she plays with the language and she lingers in it and revels in it. And I think this is one of those poems where revels really is the right word. So once more, this is Mary Oliver's Tasting the Wild Grapes. The red beast who lives in the side of these hills won't come out for anything you have, money or music. Still, there are moments heavy with light and good luck. Walk quietly under these tangled vines and pay attention, and one morning something will explode underfoot like a branch of fire. One afternoon something will flow down the hill in plain view, a muscled sleeve the color of all October. And forgetting everything, you will leap to name it, as though for the first time your lit blood rushing not to a word but a sound. Small-boned, thin-faced, in a hurry, lively as the dark thorns of the wild grapes on the unsuspecting tongue. The fox, the fox! This has been another episode of The Daily Poem. Thanks for listening. I'll be back on Monday with another poem for you.